for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here back from the video, and today me bringing you guys what might be one of my best pass defenses ever. This is a really good setup. It stops some of the most meta plays, specifically out of this gun bunch offense. I actually uploaded this Z-spot play that I'm going to be stopping yesterday, so if you want to know how to run it the best way, make sure you check out that video. But here I got a defense that stops really a lot of the best plays in the game, and we're going to go ahead and be running it out of the nickel 3-3-5 wide. I'm in the 4-6 defensive playbook, best playbook in the game. We're going to be audibling from 3-3-5 to 3-3-5 wide. And in today's video, we're actually not going to adjust our zone drops. So a little bit different than something we usually do. Usually we're always adjusting those zone drops. In today's video, we're actually not. So we're going to leave our zone drops the same. Anyways, before we get into the video, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. We just hit 14,000 subscribers. Thank you for that. We are now on the road to 15,000 subscribers. So if you're new, you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that sub button. Also follow me on Twitter. Link will be down below in the description. But yeah, 3-3-5, we're obviously going to be running this and audibling down to 3-3-5 wide so we can get these safeties right here at linebacker. Put your user in the middle as always. And yeah, just get some nice coverage guys on the outside. I also do recommend getting two man-to-man corners on the outside because depending on the way that they run it, you're always going to man up one of these cornerbacks, which you will see. So get two cornerbacks. I recommend getting one step ahead as your ability. We don't have that today, but yeah. So the actual play we're going to be running is going to be this cover 4 show 2. You actually can't see it right now, but I'm going to move my camera. There you go. So now you see that cover 4 show 2 at the bottom. That's the play we're going to run. So just put it in your audibles right at that L1 spot and you will be good to go. So yeah, overall that's going to pretty much do it. And let's go ahead, hop into the video. Now also one little quick thing, the play you can come out in is really any play. I usually just come out in this cover 2 man. Again, it's at the bottom. My camera's covering it, but yeah, I'm going to come out in that. And we're going to audible. So to audible, I'm sure most of you know this, but if you don't, you're just going to press that X or square button, D-pad to the left, and then again, you're going to press L1. It's in our audibles. Again, my camera is not showing it, but it is at that L1 spot. So you're just going to press X, D-pad to the left, and L1. You can do this really quickly just to show you. I'll go right there, and boom, they're going to shift. So that is the first step to doing it. Again, the reason we do that is so we can get those safeties at linebacker. The next thing you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and press your defensive backs wide down on that left stick. Then I like to go ahead and spread my defensive line. Now I can shift if I feel like it's better against the run. Personally, I'm just going to spread them for a little bit of a better pass rush. That's the reason I do it. Again, you can shift left, shift right, depending on if he's running like base a lot or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to shift. I'm also going to go ahead and slant my defensive line outside. So we pressed, we spread our D-line, and we slanted outside. Now we got a couple of coverage adjustments, I think 3 or 4 in particular. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and man up our solo side receiver. So we manned up James Bradbury on that left side on the island on Emmanuel Sanders right there. Again, get one step ahead so they won't get burnt because we can't really shit over the top when we're running these quarter flat zones, which you will see. But yeah, that's our first adjustment. The next thing we're going to do is actually hard flat that weak side. So I'm going to go ahead, put X, my X linebacker here in a hard flat. Now we just got a couple more things to do, around 2 more adjustments. Now you see we got a little bit of a quarters look on that top right section. We have our outside quarter and we have our inside quarter. So we have a couple of things to do. Personally, what I'm going to go ahead and do is throw L1 in a deep half. The reason for this is that I don't get burnt. Now the player looks a little bit weird when you have that deep half and the outside quarter, but they actually play very well. And you will see the outside quarter is going to take the corner outs a lot of the time, which would obviously leave the door wide open. So what we're going to do is deep half so that we don't get burnt. The last thing you're going to do is throw A in a vertical hook, just like this, for some extra help in the middle of the field. Again, there's some other adjustments that you can do, which we'll talk about later, but yeah, that's going to be the base adjustment. So obviously we're using the 3-rec. We're just going to throw them in a blitz right here, pretty simple, and then you can kind of hover wherever you want. But overall, we're going to run Z spot. So here's a look at some of the setups I talked about in that video I uploaded yesterday. Here would be one of the setups that you're going to run. You're going to see this really short corner out. It's very solid. as I talked about, but it's going to get completely bagged. So we're just going to kind of user. You see A is covered, and R1 was covered very, very well on that pass. So I'm going to actually show you the replay, show you how well it was actually defended. So again, just taking a look. The outside is a little bit open, but it actually gets bagged by this outside, or this quarter flat zone, I believe. It does a pretty good job of defending it. Now, it was a little bit congested, and this route combo in particular is very good, which is, you see how he kind of gets this outside release on the press, which it does hurt the play, because usually the outside quarter would just completely go to the flats. So that's going to open it up a little bit, but even then, sometimes you won't get that outside release. But you see the corner out, the baby corner out that is so deadly, bagged by this outside quarter. You throw it to click on an interception. So this is really the best zone, in my opinion, to defend it without having to change zone drops or anything. As far as our streak, we got this deep half. Really, any outside streak as well would be defended. We really just kind of have to defend it like right about here. Obviously, the drag is going to be bagged. And if he ends up playmakering back to the left, which is what a lot of people would do in this particular setup, and it's also one of the metas right now, boom, you have a hard flat right there. Now, really the route combo that would kind of put a lot of stress on your user would be like a backside crosser. So if A was on a post, that's who I'm using, that's who I'm focusing on, but he's not going to beat you deep. You have that inside quarter that's going to do a really good job of defending it. But yeah, that's kind of a mouthful. I'm going to get a couple more reps in. Again, you're just going to press X, deep out of the left, and L1. You're going to spread your D-line, slant outside, press, man up X on X, put this X linebacker in a hard flat. Then you're going to put A in a vertical hook. And then you're just going to put L1 in a deep half. So again, it's a decent amount of adjustments. It's definitely not too much, too badly. I feel like if you have the adjustments down, you can definitely get this play off pretty quickly and still have time to adjust if you were to flip his play or whatever. But yeah, overall, very solid player. I'll run that Z spot again. Now, since I didn't plan this well enough, so I don't have this tight end apprentice, which I probably should have had. Basically, another setup that you would see is probably something like this, and then A would be kind of on like a post. So we'll throw him on like an in route. I know that's not the correct route, but just imagine that he was on like a post, and obviously it's going to be the same because I'm still going to be using A. But yeah, the table route's going to be defended by our hard flat. The drag's going to be defended by our man coverage. The outside is going to do its job. And yeah, overall it's going to be down pretty well. So again, we'll have them just go ahead and snap the ball. And I don't even think I put my guy on the user, but you see everything defended really, really well. Again, the outside defended perfectly. We take the middle of the field with our user. And overall, we still have some decent help. So again, the vert hook's just kind of helping us in the beginning. He doesn't do too much, but he helps with like this corner out if you were to throw it on break. And again, the flats are going to be defended pretty well if we don't get bumped. You see how he's just going to kind of match on. This particular route combo is very, very solid. So he's going to have a little bit of separation, but if he continues to do that, you can adjust, maybe man him up or whatever. Again, the middle of the field is going to be defended, same as like that streak or post would be. But yeah, overall, very solid coverage. So let's adjust our play on offense. Let's go with a different play. I'm going to hop into mesh. So mesh is similar to Z-spot. It's just going to be a different type of release. So instead of smart routing RB, you're going to smart route B on this little short corner. That's going to be pretty good. Again, let's just go with like this kind of a base route combination. I could also like throw RB on and out or A on a streak, but this is a pretty decent route combo. You would have playmaker on that solo side receiver, probably playmaker and back outside. So again, we're going to audible down. We're going to spread our defensive line, slant outside. We're going to press, man up X on X, put this X linebacker in a hard flat, put A in a vertical hook, and then we're going to go ahead and deep half L1 in this case. Now be careful because usually with our adjustments, I believe A is going to be the deep half if you're in like a cover 3, cover 2, really any other play besides this cover 4. So the adjustments do change a little bit. If you're used to running cover 3, that could throw you off a little bit, but just be prepared now. Also with this play, it's not something you want to run every down. You're not going to run this play every single down. You have to mix it in at right times. If you notice that this is probably his money play, you're going to mix it in against like certain downs and distances. Like a 3rd and 8, you would expect him to go to his money play, 4th downs. But again, mix in like man coverage, cover 3 setups that we all know. Don't run this every single down. If you're expecting like a crosser, if he's not really going to a route combo that this defends well, then you can definitely stay away with it a little bit. But I do recommend mixing it in a decent amount, maybe once every 4 plays, something like that. Just throw him off a little bit. But again, here's our setup. We're going to run a little bit of a different route combination here with this mesh setup. And you see, look at the flats defended perfectly. You see, you throw it, it's a pick. I believe the outside was defended pretty well, although sometimes that corner out can give it a little bit of trouble. We'll take a look at the instant replay, and if you were concerned with the flats being open, because the out route did get a little bit of separation, just take a look at this. The quarter flat, just defending it perfectly. Again, this outside quarter does really, really well with our corner route, and obviously the streak in the middle. So it's almost like you do have an extra defender. If you wanted to send 4, you definitely could send this vert hook off the edge. There's not really a blitz that would get home, but overall you could do that. And you see how he kind of bumps him. He does a little bit of work there, and there's no reason to like throw him in a hard flat. So honestly, my best bet would be to man him up on the tight end if you were to go with like a crosser setup. So we'll go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Let's hop into something like flood, because flood is pretty good against it. If he is running like flood a lot, you're going to need that vert hook zone. But if he's running like a Z spot and he's putting his tight end on a crosser, that's when I would probably man up that player on the tight end. So let's try and show something like that. I'm just going to reset the play. And again, we're going to throw him on like this in route because we don't necessarily have the perfect zone. So here would be the setup. But again, let's hop into our hypothetical now. Again, setting it up the same way that we have been. But the only difference would be to go ahead and do something like this. We would man up our vert hook on that tight end. So again, if he's beating you with like crossers, because we have a hard flat on the left, we don't have any deep help. So instead of us being forced to almost user across the field, we can now defend like playmakers. If there were any random routes that I wasn't expecting, I would be able to help out on that. But yeah, overall, we'll snap the ball. Boom. You see the in route's going to be covered pretty well here. Obviously, that's a 74 overall receiver. And sometimes you won't get pressure. I'm assuming that you do get good lines, but in the sense that it's a broken play, you see the outside quarter zone and quarter flat still matching on the routes that they defended. So in broken play situations, this is still a very, very good defense, unlike a cover 3 might be, where you can easily playmaker inside and get someone wide open. That's the reason why I like this match style of defense. So again, very, very solid. Let's show it against flood because we haven't ran that. We just run a basic route combination like this. Again, we're setting up our defense the exact same way. Pretty simple adjustments. Again, only 4, I believe. 4 or 5. Also, don't forget to put your user on that blitz, but we'll just hop into kind of a basic setup just like this one, and we'll snap it. So again, you see the flats defended well. Look at that vert hook. Put in the work against R1. That's the kind of thing that I was talking about, though, where my user here would be defending the out route because the outside quarter doesn't match onto it for whatever reason. It does corner routes, but it just doesn't do those extended out routes. So this is the one play that would really give you a little bit of trouble, but any kind of corner out would be defended, and that's just where you got to recognize with your user the play. But you see the vert hooks holding him off for a good amount of distance, so if you have a good pass rush, you can definitely get home. But yeah, overall, it's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, again, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel as well for more content just like this one as my dog walks into the background, as you might have seen earlier in the video. But yeah, follow me on Twitter again, and peace. I'm out of here.